Charles Purcell presents.
Okay. This is Charles Purcell, and holy cow, we took the summer off. Of course, I continued to do the log, the other podcast, the weekly program of mostly politics, but other news, analysis, talking head, punditry kind of stuff, right? So there's that. But we haven't done a Charles Purcell Presents now for quite a while. Again, like I said, took the summer off, at least from that, because the summer was pretty busy. And I've got some friends with me today. You sure do. Hello, Charles Purcell. Jeez, it's so great to holy cripes, right? Be in the studio with you again. So great to be here. Hey, Charles Purcell. Hello, Uncle Chuck. Well, hello, Chucky Bucky. Good to see you too. Hope you had a good summer. Yeah, they're both here, and maybe some others will join in before the whole thing is over. But okay, so here's the deal. Talking to the listener now. Yeah, well, that's what we had to do. We gotta talk to the listeners. You know, I've noticed that lots of podcasts seem to forget that there's even a listener. What do you mean? What do you mean, Chucky Bucky? Well, they don't even talk like there's other people listening. They just have their dopey little conversation with each other, and it's the most boring stuff. He's got a point there. They'll just be having this random conversation like anybody would have with your friend, sitting in the basement smoking a doobie. Yeah, I guess podcasts do that. But we got to be careful criticizing other podcasts because, that's what we're doing. Well, sure, but, I think at least we'll try to keep in mind that there's people listening and that the stories don't just get so incredibly, just like boring and irrelevant to the listener. Yeah, okay, so when we tell our stories, well, what stories are we going to tell? How was, what was your summer? Right? Like when you go back to school when you're a kid. I don't know. I haven't been to school in a long time, but they used to do that. Tell us how you spent your summer. And then it's like, I went to camp and I got stung by a bee and my foot swelled up 3 times its normal size and I hallucinated. And that happened to me once. Right. Okay, guys, and that's the kind of thing you want to avoid. Just things that are irrelevant to the listeners. Yes. All right. Okay, well, having said that, now, I do have one piece of business that I have to say here. Well, okay, who's stopping you? Go ahead. All right. Jesus, you guys. All right, and that is that this is Charles Purcell Presents, okay? It's not The Log, 2 different podcasts. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing I got to talk about. Charles Purcell Presents, typically, over the years, has been, some conversations like this with the 3 of us and others, but mostly it's been, hey, did you notice right there, you sounded like, you and Uncle Chuck are starting to sound more alike as you get older, Charles Purcell. Have you noticed that? You're not the first person to point that out. Is that true? We're sounding alike? Yeah, I guess as I get older, I'm starting to sound more like you. Like, yeah. Every once in a while, it'll just come out. Whoa! that was my impression of you. Well, that was pretty good. Yeah, but he doesn't even have to do the impression. You guys, you're like related, right? He's your uncle. So oftentimes, there's a similarity in voices, right? In families. Oh, sure, that's a very common thing. Yeah, and I guess as I get older, I'm starting to sound more like you, so maybe I should be more conscious of that and try not to. Well, it's just the march of time. Hey, did you notice on, Collinsworth, the guy who does football commentary on NBC there? His son now has a pretty prominent role also on the old NBC, and they're sound-alikes. Yeah, I did. I noticed that watching the opener of the NFL season this year. Yeah, Zach, is that his name? I think it's Zach. What's the other fella's name? He used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, Collinsworth.
I think he was a wide receiver.
Chris.
Kind of a wiry guy. Yeah, Chris Collinsworth, sure. Yeah, his son now is, I don't know what his name is, Zach maybe, or something. Colin.
No, it's not Colin Collinsworth.
Oh, that would be a funny joke to play on a kid. Colin Collinsworth. Okay, so anyway, what were you saying there, Charles Purcell? Oh, right. Yeah, program note here. This is, well, go ahead, spit it out. I'm sorry, you guys, you get me off my game sometimes. Off your game? Well, we're supposed to help you out here. Yeah, we're like, helping you out, taking the pressure off, being sounding boards, and being able to chime in. Get you off your game. I'm sorry. It's been a little while since we've been together, and I'm a little bit flustered. Well, gosh almighty, you shouldn't be flustered. You should be having a good time. We're all together again. It's great to be here. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. It's been a long time.
Kiss me once or kiss me twice. Kiss me once again. It's been a long time. Haven't felt like this before since 1973. It's been a long time.
Hey, we're pretty good. We should take this thing on the road.
We are pretty good. Okay, let's get back to the business here at hand. Charles Purcell, you have the floor. All right, okay. What I've been trying to say is Charles Purcell Presents is typically radio theater, sketch, comedy, improv, monologues. And most importantly, we try always to keep it not timely. In other words, a little bit timeless, because it's just the nature of the show. We don't make real, news of the day kind of references. We want the shows to have a little shelf life. Yes, that's been our philosophy here on Charles Purcell Presents for, these many years.
Yep, that's what we do.
Well, guys, we're dropping that, at least temporarily.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, yeah. Now don't pretend like you're hearing this for the first time. We had a meeting. We had a big conversation about this.
Well, yeah, yes, we did. I know.
Now, Chucky Bucky, you got to keep things authentic here. We don't want to be pretending that we know things we don't know things we don't know, and we want to keep it real. Keep it 100, as the kids say.
The kids don't say keep it 100 anymore. That's not a kid thing anymore.
Well, it's all relative. So, okay, the show, at least temporarily here, is going to be very timely. So just so everyone's aware of this change, we're very conscious of the change. We did it because, and again, we had a long talk about this, the log, which handles up to the minute news and analysis and all that, politics, has been overwhelmed with news, and we're not getting to a lot of it. So here's the plan. All right. Okay, everybody listen up.
Okay, so let's hear the plan now. I think I understand what it is, but I'm not sure.
Chucky Bucky, shut up.
Okay. All right, fine.
All right, so here's the plan. For fall of 2024, which we're in now, leading up to the election, November 5th, and then however long it takes after that to settle on who's president, because it could take, it's typical that it takes a day or two. But it could take more, and there could be trouble, and we don't know what's going to happen. So for the foreseeable future here, at least the fall of 2024, and then we'll see how long we have to do this. We're going to be contemporary in our focus. It's going to be a lot of news and politics analysis. So we're going off the typical format of Charles Purcell Presents, just so everybody knows we're all on the same page.
Well, okay then. So that means no sketches or songs? Or...
Oh, what kind of that?
No,
not necessarily. We'll get to that stuff too. We'll still try to have as much fun as possible. So it's not like the log. It's not just going to be straight, ranting and punditry. No. We'll try to have some fun along the way. But the main point is it's going to be contemporary It's going to be in line with the time, with even the week, which we haven't done before. So be aware. Okay. All right. That is kind of a big change, and people should be aware of that. And we'll see what happens when it's all over, the election, that is. Yeah, I would love to get back to the original idea of having the long shelf life and the timeless. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what word you look for. Timeless feature? No, it's not feature. Entity? No. The flavor? No. There's a word there that none of us can think of. Yeah. Anyway, so if you're a regular listener to Charles Purcell Presents, you should know what's going on. And then if you know one of the reasons that you wanted to keep it kind of timeless is, well, once you put it there, the podcast, once you shoot it up there to all the different sites and it's online now, it's the old capital I internet. Oh, gosh almighty, it's just there forever. It just stays. And you don't know when people are listening. Well, that's an excellent point, Chucky Bucky. And so I would say, if you're listening now, and it's, maybe it's 10 years in the future, maybe it's 20, 34. Hello, people in the future. It's a form of time travel, isn't it? So if you're listening in the future, and you're wondering why they're making all these references to the past, it's because, well, that's just the way it is. We're living in our present current time, and we're commenting and we're making a program about the current time. So if you're in the future, whether it's 10 years or 100 years or maybe even 6 weeks, you can think of this as kind of a time capsule that you've opened up, and you can still listen and enjoy it and think of it as, maybe you're going to learn some history. Well, I don't know. That's a little profound, Uncle Chuck. Well, sure. We're the first draft of history, right? That's what journalism is. And I know we're not journalists. No, of course not. We're not journalists, but we're talking about contemporary issues, day-to-day politics and news and stuff. So, right, it is kind of the first draft of history. And so if you're listening in the future, hello, future, how are things in the future? Have you settled a few of these things? Are some of the bad people dead now? Don't have to worry about them anymore? Or maybe you figured out diseases and stuff? I don't know. Gosh almighty, you still having wars? And think of all the things that could be in the future. And I hope you're having a great time there in the future. I hope life is good, and I hope you're living in peace and prosperity, and I hope there's justice in the world, because in our time there's very little justice and there's great inequalities and people are suffering, and other people are doing just great. They got no complaints, but they're living on the backs of the other folks. And anyway, it's not such a good time for us here in our time. But if you're listening in the future, hello, future. Okay. So that's what I wanted to make sure the listeners were aware of, that for the foreseeable future, at least through the fall of 2024, this is going to be our program. And we're going to focus a lot, almost exclusively. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not going to make any commitments here, but we're going to focus a lot on the election, the presidential race, of course, the Senate and the House, and just everything that relates to that. Because, just doing a half-hour a week on the log, we couldn't get to all of that. And plus, we didn't really want to. We don't want to ignore other important stories, and that was starting to happen because there's so much news happening in the election, right? Well, Jay, that's an understatement if I ever heard one. So there you go. That's really what I wanted to tell you today. We're only, halfway through the half hour here, so let's go ahead and take it around the table here. Anything on your mind, you guys, that needs to be said? Well, I saw a headline: Jim Jordan, his opponent is within striking distance of him in the polls. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Jim Jordan, Ohio, the pride of Ohio.
the guy who turned his back on wrestling when he was on the wrestling team. He was one of the coaches or something, and turned his back on sexual abuse. Oh, Jim Jordan wanted to be Speaker of the House. Oh, Jim Jordan never wears a suit jacket. Always has to show his shirt. Oh, Jim Jordan, that's like his calling card, right? The shirt with no jacket. He's one of the original. He's an OG goofball of the Republican Party. He's been around a while now, and he's right at the top of the. He might be on the what do they call it? The Mount Rushmore of the MAGA weirdos of Congress. So he could lose. How would that be? Speaking of losing, John Tester is in danger of losing his Senate seat in Montana. That would be a crying shame because Democrats have to keep the Senate. They need the trifecta to get anything done in this country. They need to retake the House and hold the Senate, and John Tester's Senate seat is in danger. Yeah, I read that too. I also read that we say this every 4 years, or 6 years, that maybe Ted Cruz could lose his seat. It's never a runaway down there in Texas for Ted Cruz, but it's not anything we can count on. So, okay. I feel it necessary to point something out here too, because if we're going to talk election here for the next several while, for the foreseeable future, let's make it real clear where we stand. Because you and I and Uncle Chuck, I feel confident in speaking for all three of us. We are not Democrats, capital D. Oh my goodness! Oh, the furthest thing from it. If it wasn't for the Republicans who have just completely, the neo-Nazi fascist, horrible MAGA Republicans, that's the only way the Democrats can look good is by comparison. If you just look at them as a standalone, take the Republicans off the table, and just look at the Democrats and what they do and how they operate, and oh my goodness, okay, so good idea, Chucky Bucky. Let's make it real clear. We're not capital D Democrats, not by a long shot. We try not to get stuck on labels, but if you were to define us, I've used social anarchist, and I think that's pretty good. It basically just means that we want small d democracy to rule. We want money out of the center of everything, and we want power to be shared laterally rather than hierarchically. Yes, spoken awkwardly but accurately. Awkwardly but accurately. So, accurately. All right. Because, oh my gosh, the free market and the whole, neoliberal fantasy that the Republicans and the Democrats share is just so goofy. The free market, gosh almighty, it's never free. Well, we'll have plenty of time to get into this stuff. Hey, here's something that I've been following. Charles Purcell, you first brought this up at the Republican convention, or down over there at Fiserv Forum, right down the street here in Milwaukee, about the use of music, right? And the first time you heard, did you hear what I said? Heard. The first time you heard, hold on, I'm coming, hold on, right? That old song? Right. And you mentioned on air at the time, it was working for Pacifica, that seemed to be their new theme song. But of course, now they're being sued for stop using that song. You don't have our permission. The estate of Isaac. Did Isaac Hayes write that song? Well, Sam and Dave recorded it, and I'm not sure did Isaac Hayes also record it? I guess he wrote it. I don't know. But the point is, the Orange Menace is being sued by several artists now. And if they're not officially suing him, at least cease and desist letters, the latest being ABBA and Jack White. And I saw a list, Reuters put out a list,
Where's that? Uncle Chuck, have you got that? The list? Oh yeah, I've got it here on my in my notes. Let me see. Here it is. Should I read them? Yeah, go ahead and just. All right. Prince, Adele, R.E.M., Neil Young, The Rolling Stones, Elton John, Ariana Grande, Foo Fighters, Pink, Queen, Stevie Nicks, Simon Garfunkel, The Killers, John Fogerty, Rage Against the Machine. This is a pretty good playlist.
So all of these
artists,
all of these artists have said no.
Yeah. The headline says ABBA joins list of over 30 artists to tell Trump to stop using their music. Yeah, and there's more. Let's see: Fogerty, Rage Against the Machine, Celine Dion, The Estate of Tom Petty, Katy Perry, The Black Eyed Peas, Beyonce, Leonard Skinner, David Bowie, Miley Cyrus, Rihanna, Billy Joel, Cher, The Beach Boys, Nickelback.
Oh, gosh almighty. The band people love to hate.
Is that Nickelback?
They're making all the jokes.
Is that Nickelback? Oh, you think? Oh, yeah. I guess that is Nickelback. I was thinking it was the Nickel. There's another Nickel band. There's a bluegrass band with Thiele, I think his name is. Oh yeah, Nickel Creek. Nickel Creek, that's it. They're a good band. They're Nickel Creek. They're a bluegrass band. Chris Thiele, is that his name? He and his sister, and then another bandmate, a trio, I believe. Nickel Creek. I'll have to look into that, see if my memory is serving. And then to finish out the list, Kenny Rogers and Lorde.
Is Kenny Rogers still alive? Is he still kicking? Is he still with us?
Yeah, I think so. He just had that really weird plastic surgery.
Oh, right, yeah. I never know who's dead or alive these days. It's hard to keep track of.
So, yeah, that's the list. Add ABBA and Jack White. I've seen other headlines too. They just keep coming. So nobody wants the Orange Menace to use their music. I love it. While, as we've pointed out before, Kamala Harris, just everybody, all the musicians, fine, do it. The DJ at the DNC was just kicking it. And of course, Freedom by Beyonce is the big theme song, which is a great theme song, political theme song.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Cornel West, Jill Stein, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. are still on the ballot. Well, not still on the ballot. The RFK is the one that's.
What are you doing there, Charles Roussel?
I'm sorry. Let me start over. Okay, no, West and Stein have made the ballot. You know, there's a whole list of conditions in each state, how to get on the ballot. You need X amount of signatures or whatever. So they're on the ballot in Wisconsin and Michigan, key swing states. RFK, who, of course, dropped out of the race, endorsed the Orange Menace, is trying to get himself off any swing state ballots. And he's fighting in the courts to get his name off of the Wisconsin ballot. So far, unsuccessful. He's lost in other court fights. So, bottom line, as we speak, and it looks like it's going to hold, he's on the Wisconsin ballot and on the Michigan ballot, which, depending on what pundit you listen to, maybe kind of a wash. You don't think it's going to make much difference. But with his full-blown now support and endorsement of the Orange Menace, you got to feel like if he's going to take votes from anybody, it's from him. So we'll see. He's trying like hell to get off these swing state ballots, and he's still on in Michigan and Wisconsin. Generally speaking, the polls are just nowhere for any of third-party candidates. They're like at 1% or less. So we'll see if that makes any difference.
You know, it's a shame about RFK. I think, Charles Purcell, maybe you talked about this once, but it's a shame that he's such a nutbag because he's bringing up issues that I wish others would bring up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course, especially, well, things like chronic disease and obesity, right?
Yeah.
Chemicals in our food and the fact that, oh my gosh, well, we talk about this all the time here. Everything you buy in the grocery store is damn poison.
Sure.
They're killing us slowly.
Yeah.
Killing us softly with their food that's not even real food. It's a bunch of chemicals arranged to taste and look like food, but it doesn't.
I remember that song.
Yeah,
was a good song.
You're right, and I think I'm not sure how much we've talked about this over on the log, but yeah, there are a lot of issues that RFK brings up. Basically, make America healthy again, which is his new little
Maha
slogan. Maha, right. Maha, make America healthy.
Yeah, that's all good.
Healthy again. I wish those issues could be front and center. A healthy environment, healthy food sources, the fact that regulatory agencies are in bed with manufacturers, all of that is true. And I really wish that RFK agenda could be voiced by somebody who's not crazy and could, enter the political debate. It would be fantastic, but he's just not the person to do it. There again, you sounded like Uncle Chuck right there. Did you notice that? I did notice it. You're getting, Charles Purcell, you're getting a little older, and you're starting to sound like me. Well, okay, what can I do? I'm sorry. No, don't apologize. It's just, I think it's just kind of funny.
Well, it's not really funny. Ha ha. It's funny. Oops.
No, it's not funny. Oops. It's just funny. It's worth noting. Well, I never heard. Is that a definition? One of the definitions of funny? It's worth noting. It's not really worth noting. I don't know if it's worth noting at all. It just is what it is. So anyway, right? Yeah, RFK. What a loony. Well, he's such a loony. But it takes all kinds, I guess. We just can't have him be powerful. I don't know. So what else? Well, we're pretty much out of time for this episode, but just to put a button on this.
Put a button? What is put a button?
Put a cap on it.
Now a button is a cap?
I don't know. Just don't dissect my idioms. Nothing worse than a dissected idiom. Anyway, so, dear listener, for the next several weeks, 8, 10, 12 weeks, however long this thing takes, we're going to take you through the election. We're going to get to a lot of election-related news and commentary that we just can't, we can't spend every second of the log on this. So with the help of Chucky Bucky and Uncle Chuck here in the studio, and with possible other elements to the show, maybe we'll toss in some sketches and some music and whatnot. This is going to be how we handle things now for through the election. Okay? Everybody good with that?
Yep, okay, we're signed on.
All right, fair enough. See you next week then? Yeah. All right, that's Uncle Chuck. That's Chucky Bucky. Okay then. And we'll see you guys. Keep the faith, everybody. Okie dokie. Stay happy and healthy and all right, the whole deal. Thanks, guys. See you. This episode of Charles Purcell Presents is available right now wherever you find your podcasts, or go to the website charlespurcell.com for the full archive and all the other series in the podcast family. Follow me on Facebook, write to me at charlespurcell@gmail. Thanks to our flagship terrestrial station, River West Radio, riverwestradio.com. Theme music composed and performed by Peter Donalds. From the New Arts and Media Studios in Milwaukee, I'm Charles Purcell.